Hey guys, and welcome to today's video, and this is something a bit special, a little bit different. As you can see from the screen, I have a large box in front of me and the new Space Marine Codex and the data card. So this is actually mine, and this has been generously donated to me for a brief period so I can do a review video on it. So this is the Primaris edition, special, super limited to 1,500 copies worldwide, I think, of the new super edition of the Space Marine Codex. So this video we're going to be taking a look at both of those. I'm going to be comparing what you get as a standard sort of gamer's kit, which was pretty much for me the data cards and the Codex. As you can see, I haven't even unwrapped it yet and I've owned it since Saturday. And then a very good friend of mine, James Mullen, shout out to James, he said kindly that I can do a review for the channel of his super edition Codex. So what does that actually mean? So let's have a quick look online of what's going to be involved in this marvellous looking box. So we can see on screen the Primaris edition Super Codex, and this comes with lots of cool stuff. So this is the ultimate version of Codex Space Marines, blah de blah de blah, limited to 1,500 copies worldwide. Contains art cards, hardback books, mini codex, which is going to be pretty interesting, command and victory point tracker, rules, you know, the standard bits, 6 tactical objectives, chapter relic information. So we'll have a quick look, well, a detailed look, not a quick look, at what exactly your £150 gets you, and that was, I think in Australian dollars, over 450 Australian, which was pretty disgusting. But is the 150 really worth it? There are still some left to order, so that would probably mean that many in the community don't think it's worth it, as these kind of things used to sell out pretty quick. But let's have a look and see what I think. So as you can see, this hasn't actually been opened at all. Still got the cellophane around those, still got the cellophane around this. What I have done on the big box, though, the Primaris Codex, is removed all the contact information that comes in the receipt. That's all I've done. I've opened the bag to remove that, just in case there was any phone numbers or addresses or anything on there that I didn't want on the internet, obviously. So, where do we start? Do we start here or do we start here? I think we just crack straight into the big box, don't we really? That's what people are wanting to see. That is the limiting factor. Not many people will probably get their hands on this, I suspect. So let's do a video and see what's in it. This could be a bit embarrassing because obviously I haven't cracked this box open and I don't want to damage it because it's quite a pretty box. So, what's on the outside of the box? So the first thing we can see on here is that it is printed in China. It labels the sort code or the IBAN number or ISBN number, and that does, I believe, match where all the codexes are coming from. Yeah, so it's printed by CNC in China, so these aren't coming out of the factory up in Nottingham, which is a little bit interesting. Nothing else on the outside. On the back side here, though, we do have a number. I think that says 0588, so I assume that is number 588 of the 1,500. Now, previous special edition codexes have had a number written on the inside of the sleeve to give you a number, so it'd be interesting to see whether that's on this one as well. Trying to be really careful here because I don't know whether James wants to keep his box afterwards, having spent the money on it. So just easing that open. And there we go. So that folds open quite nicely, and inside here is quite a heavy thing. Get that out of the way. So, what do we have? We have a paperback Citadel Vault sticker, and this is basically some black paper protecting the contents. I'm going to try and slide that out. Yeah, we can. That's cool. I don't want to be the person to break the seal on this, so just like that. Place that over there. Here we go, this is it. So we have some funky artwork on the front. Got some really funky artwork here. This is the, I think the new Lieutenant or the new Lieutenant colour schemes, the white with the red, which we've seen reintroduced. We haven't seen those for several editions, and certainly we've seen in 30k, but 40k we're back to the Lieutenant ranks, which, you know, is the junior officers of the Space Marines, so we don't always have to field captains. On the back, more pretty artwork. It's a really good quality box, to be honest. It's got a weird feel to it. It almost feels like a rubbery kind of feel, but it's not. It's just a really high quality card. But yeah, very fancy. And open it from this side, I'm guessing. And that lifts off like that. A little bit of funky artwork on the inside there. There's some very sort of loose looking diagrams or pictograms in there, some artwork in there. But this is the contents. So the first thing we have when we open the box is this, and they shall know no fear. Well, they do a little bit these days. All you do is get a reroll to your morale phase, but they kind of know no fear. So that's the first book. This is the actual Codex. This is the fancy gilt-edged Codex. Again, it kind of matches the back of the box artwork. It's got a big X on the skull there. Not quite sure what that's indicating. It's not 10th edition yet, we're still 8th edition, but maybe it's the Gravis Mark 10 armour. 588 at 1500, so that does match the label that was on the outside, so that's good to see that matches and correlates. I'm not going to go through all of the Codex, but this should be an identical mirror of the standard one. You do get a little page tag, little divider here in black. What we'll do maybe at the end of this video is I'll just do a sort of a page by page comparison. So this total page count is 208. Some more nice artwork at the back here with Inceptors jumping around, looking like they're squatting on the loo. But yeah, lots of pictures of Primaris Marines. They are the flavour of the year, I guess. But yeah, Primaris Ancients, all that kind of stuff. Lots of cool pictures, including all the new models I noticed. So we have the new Dreadnought model here. That's that's only out this week. So yeah, that's how new the book is. They've obviously had their models in for a while, including the Repulsor as well. That's pretty new, and that came out at the same time as the Redemptor Dreadnought. So they've done lots of stuff. Look at these guys, they do look like they need potty training. They are squatting over the loo. But yeah, that's the first book then. Let's move into the second book then. The second book is Only in Death. Again, really nice quality bound book. Honour the Emperor, honour thy chapter. Or honour thy Emperor, honour thy chapter, should I say. Again, very nice artwork, very nice feel to the book. It's exactly the same kind of quality as the Codex itself. This one isn't stamped on the inside, it's obviously the Codex that is the real limiting factor here, which may mean that this could be available in some kind of art limited edition or another run sometime in later perhaps. But yeah, this is, there's the old school picture that we know and love. That picture has been around for a long time. But yeah, this is really cool art. So this is some of the new artwork here, so we can see the Inceptors jumping around again, with the new plasma dudes. Nice picture here of the Reavers. So these are the new assault shock troops with their skull masks. Another little page marker here, so lots of pictures of Primaris in the new Primaris Librarian. Primaris Ancient. It's, yeah, you get the theme, it's Primaris, isn't it, really? So, yep, more Primaris. Oh, there's a Repulsor and the Grav Tank and Redemptor Dreadnoughts. Well, finally we get something in a different colour scheme. So we've got something from the Salamanders here, which makes a change to seeing blue, lots of blue. Very pretty pictures, some of which we've seen before, and obviously a lot of the new Primaris stuff is brand spanking new. My beloved Imperial Fists, like a few pictures of those, that's good. Another classic picture of the Space Marine with the very small head. It does look completely out of scale, doesn't it? I think you all agree there that that guy's head does not fit on this guy's body. Like this one, this is, I don't think I've seen that one before, maybe I have. Legion of the Damned guy, all on fire, very pretty. Move into some Orc pictures over here, getting beaten up by some Black Templars. More Black Templar stuff. It's nice to make a change from feels like we've had the Ultramarines rammed down our throat for some time now. Everything is always painted in Ultramarine blue. I know they're the poster boys. I know they're easy for the painters to paint to a brief at Games Workshop, so they all come up looking consistent. So if you give 2 or 3 of their studio guys a brief to say, right, you've got these guys to paint, and bear in mind they're painting 2, 3, 4 months in advance, it does mean they get a consistent approach, and then they can paint the odd model and the odd special unit maybe in a different chapter colour, and then that gives them some variety. But yeah, a nice mega knob here, beating some stuff up. The Imperial Fist doing business, working alongside some Ultramarines. I don't know why they'd be doing that. Who'd work with the Ultramarines? They're too good on their own, right? It's interesting. I don't think I've seen this one before. This is quite good. So this is a Imperial Fist Apothecary with a bolter to a fallen Marine's head, maybe putting him out of his misery there before extracting his progenoid glands for reimplantation at a later date. Looks like, yeah, he's putting him out of his misery. It's the bolt of absolution, kill him off. That's quite a cool picture. It's a shame that these get spoilt with the seam down the middle of a book though. When you get a double-sided picture like this, I feel it does get a little bit ruined by that seam, and that goes back to the last incantation of White Dwarf. White Dwarf Visions had some great pictures in it, but that terrible seam. And if you get a digital version, that's obviously really cool because you can just blow the picture up and scan and flick around it with your tablet or your computer or whatever. But yeah, that for me does spoil it somewhat, but it is what it is. Ultramarines again. Templar's Predator. Oh, and surprise, we're back to Ultramarines again. And some more Ultramarines. This time, this was the, I think this was out of the recent Gathering Storm photo book, where Rabute Gilliman is risen by the Ynnari with the help of Belisarius Cawl and his new magic armour, fighting off a invasion of Uber Terminators who teleported into his throne room. And there's another picture of him again, looking all Roman. Probably the best way to describe them, isn't there, really? They are Roman-esque in nature. But there we go, that's the art book. Quite good. Some new stuff in there, lots of old stuff being reprinted. A little bit spoilt again, as I said, by the little seams down some of the double-sided A3 shots. So what's next then? We have a little sliver of a folder thing. I Nothing remarkable on there. On the front though is the new Primaris Chaplain model. You can tell because he's got the very small Crozius skull. But yeah, that looks like what he is. So let's have a look what's inside here. This looks quite cool though. In here then, November 2014 is when this was done. That looks like Jess Goodwin's signature. Mark 10 Astartes Chaplain, not to scale, as part of a retinue, the keepers of faith, the bearers of company relics. Now that is, I assume, a full copy of his original sketchwork. Simple, brutal Crozius, more mace-like, knurled grip for industrial edge. I like the way he does these little notes, this is quite cool. Heavy gauntlet, sculpted detail cuff from Vanbrace, fist gauntlet, covered in litanies and fixed with iron halo clasps at the top of the parchment. Half halo weights, so that's what these little things are then. Weights to make your little tassely bits and his litanies flow around all nicely. Heavy bolt gun pistol, the Executioner, so he's got a name already, so this is going back nearly 3 years now, nearly 3 years since he's done this, so that's how long this has been in the making really, given that we were told that the 8th edition rules were only came into being, or into their first preliminary stage 18 months ago, well that would be 19 months ago, so it's been out about a month. They said they started working on 18 months ago, so the Primaris Marines have been in Jess's mind for 3 years. So that's how far ahead they're working. So, you know, maybe we've already got Mark 11 armour on the way and we don't even know about it yet. So what else do we have? Anything here? Reliquary in sternum, force field generator tipped forward to make it more like a classical halo. And a mantle. Pistol belt and holster. Yeah, and reliquary boxes, which are, you know, those little full of bone things. I'm not really quite sure what the point of those is, but that's what they carry. So that's a really cool picture of that. And now we have the Astartes Repulsor tank. So this is the brand new troop carrier. Again, Jess Goodwin, October 2014. So that is actually a month before the Chaplain was being drawn. So this is showing his new concept here. Heavily armoured front, lots of stowage, rear ramp question mark, so was he even sure that was going to be the way in and out, was that going to actually exist? Side weapons in low turrets, remote sponsons, 5 plates, lengthen here to 5 plates, so he obviously did this with only 4 originally, but then he's gone into production and said that probably doesn't look right, that probably needs a 5th. Widen gap to accommodate 3 plates. Heavy repulsor plates provide lift occasionally. Can't even read what he's writing here now. Occasionally changed like tank treads. Not quite sure what that means. Who knows what the mind of Jess Goodwin produces. But that shows how long ago that was. So we also have one more. And this is this dated? March 2015, this one, in the tiny little corner down there. Yeah, you can see that on camera, that's good. So this is going to the concept of the Intercessor, and he's got different helmets. So we've got Intercessor full faceplate, triple vents, like a rebreather, can vary. It's almost like Mark 4, Mark 8, Mark 7 he's mentioned here. And he's got a heavy helmet, 3/4 faceplate, exposes the rebreather part with double vents. A flight mask, heavy version, half faceplate shows complete rebreather suit with a single vent. And then a Vanguard helmet here, which is only a 1/4 faceplate, exposes a gnarly central vent, elongated skull shape, canister rebreathers where possible. So, like a traditional kind of gas mask. His concepts here are pretty cool, and then we've got all these new different bolt weapons. So we've got a standard one, the high rate of fire version, so he's got a box mag which makes that different to the original. Other than this one's got a scope on the top here and an optional stock. Then we've got a new higher accuracy version here, so a long shot, so it's got wiring controls to make that a more like a telescopic scope rather than a fixed red dot kind of scope, with a stock on the back. And then he's got a combi weapon style one with an auxiliary grenade launcher and drum mag. Squad leader or special weapon, he obviously doesn't know where this could go. A shortened foregrip, so it's a bit more like a stub type of weapon, or more like a compact style of weapon. Yeah, shortened grip, grenade, yeah. Not sure if you're rocking a grenade launcher, would you have a scope on the top? I guess a lot of modern weapons these days, with underslung grenade launchers, they still opt for a red dot on them these days, or some kind of optic. But there we go, that's the concept. So going back 2015, 14, going as far back as 2014, the Primaris stuff goes to. And that all comes in this little folder. So I'm going to put those back. I think these would be nice framed. If you get a couple of nice frames, I think they'd be quite cool in a man cave. So what do we have next in the box? So we now have a foam insert. So those are all obviously the large, the A4 pieces that we've seen so far. Inside here, I'm guessing now, is the mini Codex. Nothing to indicate. Only in death does duty end. So we have the Chaplain on the front again. That same piece of artwork that we've seen on the back of the main Codex. And in here, yep, so this is the mini Codex without fluff, without anything else, which is good. We can chop out all the rubbish. We just need to go straight to the rules, and we have everything in here that matches the main Codex. And at the back, yep, the tactical objectives for the Space Marines, and then the points values. So easy to find your way around, and certainly more transportable than the main Codex. I'm surprised it's actually hardback. I was expecting this to be potentially softback like the 7th edition mini book. I do hope these are going to be standalone. I do like mini Codexes. But yeah, that's the mini Codex. And next in the box, this I assume then is the command point and victory point tracker. So it's a 2-layered card with 2 wheels on the end, with a split pin kind of through the middle. And then we have a command point tracker that goes from 1 all the way around and to 12. So you can track your command point usage just by spinning your wheel. And then your victory point counter, where does that go to? I think this is a bit ambitious for my gaming. It goes from 1 victory point up to 20. The chances of me ever getting 20 victory points are pretty slim. My last game that I played on Monday night, I got a grand total of 2 victory points in a 2,000 point game. My opponent, I think, hit 11 or 12. So for me, this, I can count my victory points on 1 dice. I don't need this. But maybe that's just my bad gaming. But yeah, so that's the wound tracker counter. It's basically some bits of card and some nice pretty pictures on, or a pretty picture. Anything else in the box? I think that might well be it. Yep, that's not coming out. Box empty. So let's just put all that back. There we go. So the big question, is it worth 150 quid? in my honest opinion, and you can probably guess what that might be considering this one isn't mine, and if I was the biggest fan in the world and I thought it was good value, I'd be unboxing mine and not a friend of mine's. I think 150 is a little bit steep. I have fallen for limited super edition stuff before, only to have had it replaced very quickly. So I had the Wolfguard edition of the Space Wolf Codex for 7th edition. I had the limited ones for the Mechanicum and the Scutari. They are all now in the loft, and they were, what's that, 150? That's probably 450, I think, pounds worth of stuff that is basically no use to anybody anymore, because all of the fancy cards that you got in them are now no good. The only thing that's good maybe are the objectives. You had some metal token objectives, they're quite good, but the unique cards and the unique parts of that, which had all the certainly for the Mechanicum guys, had all their orders and things all over them, so all their, you can fire twice or you can move twice and all that kind of stuff that you could do once per different card per turn, all now completely useless. So I told myself, you know what, I'm not going to get suckered into it again. I'm not going to spend money on that. Who knows whether they're going to be worth money in the future and worth an investment, I don't know. But conversely though, 8th edition is a complete reboot of the gaming system. It's brand spanking new. It's closed the door on the old versions. I mean, 7th edition, if you ever watched the Warhammer TV live commentary with the games designers, they said basically 7th edition is the first reboot of 40k since 2nd edition, really. So we were Rogue Trader 2nd edition, and then 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th were actually pretty much one edition, just with changes, and they just evolved the game through the different editions. It wasn't a complete reboot. Now 8th edition certainly is a reboot, having played nearly half a dozen games now. Plays very differently to 7th. Even though there's only 12 pages of rules in the core book, the tactical side of it is for me a lot different, a lot better. The whole wound system on vehicles obviously makes a very, very big difference. AP modifiers, everything can hurt everything theoretically. I'm not sure a Brimstone Horror taking down a Thunderhawk gunship is ever going to happen, so not everything can hurt everything really, but it plays very differently, and 8th edition being a complete reboot. The problem I'm having with hard copies now is the amount of FAQs and the amount of changes that could happen given it's a living rulebook. We've already seen FAQ 1.0 and 1.1 already out for the core rules, and also all the updates for the indices as well. So a lot of changes have already come in just from a month, 6 weeks worth of feedback from the community and from gaming events. So the main one I've seen a lot of is the Stormraven spam removal, really. So there were lists out there of 5 or 6 Stormravens and Rabute Guilliman in, and that was just flattening people across the board. Now you can't win if you haven't got boots on the ground in turn 2. So if your list only consists of flyers, that's gone. So that was one of the big rules changes recently. So being a living rulebook and lots of changes that are going to get tweaked throughout it, your main codex is probably going to see a similar fate. Now if you've got a digital version, that should auto-update. If you've got the paperback versions, then you're going to have to insert printouts and keep abreast of all the changes that happen, or annotate inside your book, or put post-it notes or whatever you're going to do to keep yourself up to date with the changes. So going back to value, then 150 I feel is a little bit much. I think given the Jess Goodwin artwork, the fact you get a mini codex, which is cool, you've got your little wound tracker, which is novelty factor, and you get the art book as well as the Jess Goodwin concept. They've got some value in my opinion. 150 is still too much. If it was round about the 100 mark, 90 to 100 mark, I think it would have been good. Certainly for those super keen collectors out there that like to get all this kind of stuff. But if we've got 10 codexes before Christmas, are we going to get 10 limited edition versions of this? I've already seen Grey Knights and the Death Guard and the Chaos Space Marines. They've already gone up. They've already been seen around anyway, that there will be limited edition versions of those. So if you're the biggest fan in the world and you want to collect all these limited edition boxes, you are going to be broke pretty quick. I'd suggest robbing banks or...
I love you, Pumpkin.
I love you, honey bunny.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Or doing a lot of chores around the house for your mum and dad to get some money. So if you're the biggest fan in the world, then it's going to cost you a lot of money. If you're only interested in one army, your favourite ultimate army of all time, then you might only just buy the one. But for me, a little bit overpriced, but quality content. It has to be said. It's a real quality box. The books are really nice. They're really well printed. You can feel they've spent some time and effort to make this. This isn't touch TV, so you can't feel how nicely embossed and printed that actually is. James is a lucky guy. He's obviously got the income to go and splurge his 150. Wish him well with his fancy new box. And that kind of ends the Primaris edition review. But while I've got your attention though, what I do want to do is actually open up my standard Space Marine Codex, have a quick check to see if it's the same pages and the same content as the limited edition one, other than not having the funky number inside that says it's number 588, I think it was. So we'll crack this open and just have a quick check. I know there's already a lot of reviews out there on the Space Marine Codex at the moment. Certainly some of the ones I've seen include missing lots of bike units are now no longer there. You can't take the Khan on a bike. You have to use some other weird and wonderful rules from the index maybe. But yeah, we'll move on to that at another time maybe. But yeah, this is the standard codex. We had 208 pages I think in the last one. Yep, we have 208 in this one. So page count is identical. And flicking through here, content looks to be the same. We'll just have a quick check, make sure. So we certainly have different cover art. So just comparing the two there, we have different cover art. So yeah, we have the different artwork on there and different artwork on the back. So this is more of a sales one that we normally see. So we have inside your find, blah blah blah, and lots of things about humanity being ruined by chaos. So what we'll do is we do a side by side almost, or top and bottom. We can have a quick check. I'll just skim through a few pages just to see if they're identical. So yeah, just cracking that open. Then we have the same artwork. This one has been the special embellished version. Just opening, yep, we have the same inserts here, we have the same contents page, introduction. Let's just skim through, it's page 27, just to see if it all tallies. Page 27, yep, so we have the Ultramarine Second Company. Remember this being built by many stores and put up in Warhammer World. There was a big store effort to make that army. 45. Yeah, Eternal Crusade, yeah, it's looking exactly the same. Terminator Assault Squad, page 159. Just skim through there. Terminator Assault Squad. Yeah, you're not getting any discount on the points for the special edition, so if you spent your money, you're not getting them at less power level or less points, certainly for that. But yeah, so the contents are identical. So there's no, other than the artwork and the feel of the book, other than the cover artwork and the feel of the book, contents are the same, so happy with that. So there we go. So that's going to wrap this video up. I've hoped you enjoyed watching me have a look at this new super limited edition Space Marine Codex and all the goodies that came in the box. I've certainly enjoyed having a little skim through and seeing what's inside. I don't know anyone else who owns this, so this is going to be my chance to have a good look and cast my opinions, whether you agree, disagree, whatever. Feel free to put something in the comment section below. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and all that good stuff. If you want to see more videos of me and you've subscribed, don't forget to click that little bell thing that appears in the top right hand corner of the channel. Then you get notifications come up on your phones or your computer or email or whatever it does. And then you can keep up with content. Don't forget I'm also on Instagram, and I often post up on there with new painting things that haven't come along on my channel yet. For example, my foray into demons. There we go, as a pink horror on one of my new bases. If you haven't seen any of that yet, follow up on Instagram, because I'm typically posting up there before it goes live on the channel. That's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and I shall catch you on the next video.